Hey guys, this is me, Anthea, and welcome to the first episode of Let's Talk with Anthea Isaac. I decided to do something different for my YouTube channel, and I willfully invited my very close friend, Angel. She is my college mate, and we did dramas together, and we have a whole bunch of tales to narrate. So personally, I was greatly inspired by her, and she has been inspiring many children as well as women. So I decided to invite her for our talk show, where she will be discussing about her entire journey as an activist and also as a college student. Welcome, Angel.
Thank you, Anthea, for inviting me. It's actually a pleasure to be with you and with your channel.
Thank you so much for joining. As I said, this is my first episode, so you're the first ever guest in my YouTube channel. So thank you.
I'm privileged.
So,
Yeah.
the first thing why I invited is because you are an activist. You reach to people and you talk motivation to people. So I really wanted, since my channel is about motivation, where I give motivation to people, I wanted you to talk about yourself and a little about how you motivate people as an activist. Can you tell us?
Okay. So the first thing is what inspired me to become an activist is society. The society actually inspired me to become an activist. Look, we are living in one whole sphere called as Earth. We are living with the same species of people with two eyes, one nose, and one mouth. But the thing is, what is that one thing that discriminates one another? What is that one thing that denies the right of another people? What is that one thing that delays the justice of another people? So that made me to question like what is happening, the why that happens in the society inspired me to talk for them. So becoming an activist is nothing but what you do, what you act, what you think. You think something and you act it out. That is called as activist according to me. So for myself, taking my personal life, I used to make everything more comprehensible and easy to understand through my activities, like from teaching to the kids or to teaching to my fellow classmates. Everywhere, the thing what I used to do is to act out, like whatever I think I'll act out in a comprehensible manner. So that is the one thing that I'm following now, acting out whatever I've learned. So the main thing that inspired me is my teachers, like the teachers who held classes for me during my undergraduate studies and postgraduate studies. They encouraged me. Every single classes I've attended, they motivated me, and they molded me into what I am today. So these are the things that inspired me, especially society.
Okay, that is great. Since you mentioned society, I wanted to know that why it is important to care about society, because we are living in a fast forward world, and whenever we see people care for society, it is kind of less than the people who are more concentrated in their own personal life. So why do you think it is necessary to care for the society and be there for the society?
Okay, through technological development, we are talking about individuality and everything and all. But the base is man is a social animal and no one can live as an island. So putting this all together, we are living in one whole sphere called as world. So to live in this world, like everyone have to live to share, everyone have to share this one little place. So we have to be aware that we have to leave some space for another, and we should not occupy or corrupt another person's space, personal space, or just discriminate them. So that one thought made me to talk for them. Like as Malala said, I raise my voice not that I can shout, but then the person with no voice can be heard. So that is one thing. But awareness should be created to people, because education is the first step to awareness. If they are not educated about what is happening in this world, or what is happening to them, then they'll not be aware of that they are actually corrupted. You see, so instead of thinking my life, my own thing, we have to think about another people, because that is the base for survival.
Yeah, that is really true, because even in the last 2 minutes video I spoke about how we all are social animals and why it is so important. So I really wanted you to talk about it. And I heard that I have heard and also seen you work for feminism with all your heart. And being a student, like fellow student, we get to interpret and get to hear a lot of definitions and examples of feminism. And I think that at times we actually don't know what feminism actually is. We start speaking extreme context where feminism does not act. So you being a feminist, and you getting to talk about girls and their importance, I wanted your opinion and your definition for feminism. So what is that?
Okay, going through all those texts and all the happening, everything, I just came to know that feminism is actually gender equality, but it goes a step beyond that. What is it? So I just got a quote: a woman's right to control her own sexuality is a key issue. So the main issue here is a woman's right to control her own sexuality. So my sexuality should be controlled by me. No one has to control. Why should always a princess should be saved by a prince? Always a man should come and rescue a woman. Always a man or any other gender has to control the role of a woman. The gender role, she's not even she can't even understand what is her own role in a family. So like everything is imposed there, everything is forced there. So my understanding according to feminism is my understanding on feminism is like the woman's right to control her own sexuality. No one has to control for her, no one has to earn for her, she can stand in her own self, right? So that is that according to me is feminism.
So I had a personal doubt from my side. So you spoke about we being for ourselves, and nobody, we need none to protect us or identify as women. So don't you think that we human women are kind of dependent, or we feel loved when there is a man to support us and protect us? Is it like, I always felt like when we girls, it might be something that is brought up through our childhood or whatever that the parents impose us. But what I felt is that we always feel loved when we get protected, and that's what I think. So whenever people say that we can stand for ourselves, yes, we can. Even I do a lot of things by myself. But when someone steps in, for example, when my father says that he can help me with certain things, I feel loved and I feel kind of safe, and it is also nice. Not I don't want to go into safety and stuff, but I, as a person, as Anthea, I feel loved and I feel cared. So don't you think that women, we need that? Can we just rationally comment that we don't need anybody, we don't need men in our life? Because I keep hearing statements like that. So what is
Yeah.
your opinion about that?
Okay, see, being loved is different from being controlled. So here we are talking about controlling, right? So we, as we were talking earlier, man is a social animal. So we need everyone to live with us. We need everyone of us to be with us. But the thing is, we don't need anyone to control our life. We are not controlling a man's life, or we are not controlling any other person's life. Like we are. So why do we need Auntie? You are telling me like ever since when we were a childhood, we were like we were like seeking for love, everything, because our brought up is like that. Every single fairy tale we told is Princess Charming will come and rescue the prince, right?
I'm still.
There were no stories like Frozen. Like if Frozen, a girl is standing for a girl. No, we weren't told such stories at all. So the thing is, I'm not standing against the fact that a man can stand as a support for a woman. But the thing is, a man cannot control a life of another woman. Like it's like she should have been educated, should have been even got a doctorate, but not letting her to go for a job which she wishes to go. It's ridiculous, right? So that is the one thing that made me to question, why should not a girl go out? Why should not a girl do whatever she want to do? So that is the one thing. But just taking control of another one's life is actually ridiculous, and doing it as like a from as a cultural base, and posing it to a religion and everything, it is even more ridiculous. So that is what I'm talking about.
So it depends on women. They have to decide whether they have to stay home or go out, but nobody can
Yes.
control that kind of thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So recently, due to this pandemic, that's why we are having a Zoom meet right now. So our mental health is another big question at this time. Uh, Due to technology, there has already been lumps of questions on mental health, and we always try to find answers. We have always the, told each other that we are there for each other, but the true fact is, what I think is that we don't have time to listen to everybody's story, but we confess that we are here to listen to everybody. And being a fellow student, I know, being a fellow friend, I know that we both had our own schedules, and we were also having some disturbances at times. So recently we got to witness the suicide uh, thing going on, and it really disturbed me so much. So while I was preparing for this interview, I really wanted to ask you on what is mental health and how are we supposed to handle this, and how can we help others, and even I know, like, I can keep on asking questions, but how can we understand that a fellow person is going through mental issues, and if we are having our own issues, how can we help ourselves? So it is basically a multi question, like how we can help ourselves and also be a great help to people around us. Can you?
Okay.
I'm sorry
We
for very big
usually
question.
no. That's good. That's good. Okay. Usually, mental health is considered as a complicated subject, but it is not. Look, mental health is actually as if like physical health. So the only difference is mental health is abstract and physical health is concrete. That's it. Okay. So in physical health, we concentrate on the functioning of the body, the system of the body, and everything. And in mental health, we will be concentrating on the psychological and emotional aspect. When physical health gets affected, it might lead to disturbances like a failure in one of the working system or the functioning of the working system, or even a fever, or like COVID, everything like. But when talking about mental health, when mental health is disturbed, it affects the way we feel, it affects the way we act, and it affects the way we think. Okay, so the only difference is physical health is concrete and mental health is abstract. But the thing is, we always need such a big shot suicide or some like what a shaking thing to understand that mental health is important. Most of us won't give importance to mental health at all, but there should be a balance between physical health and mental health. Only if we are able to maintain a balance between this both, it'll be fine, or else it'll lead to a disaster. So mental health is commonly, and it is the basic understanding of mental health. It concentrates on psychological and emotional well-being of a person. So it is very very fragile.
Hmm. So, how can we help ourselves if we find us being emotionally unstable or mentally unhealthy? What kind of steps would you suggest to help ourselves?
Okay, helping ourselves is very much easy. Like if you are packing for your lunch, okay, what are the things you will add? you will be you should add the amount of thing you which you can eat, the optimum level, right? But just dumping everything and closing it, the pressure itself will cause a damage up there. So the same thing will be applied to mental health. You should not keep all your worries, all your past, all your what to say, your stress, everything into yourself and dump it. You just have to vent out. That we call in psychology as a process called as catharsis, which means venting out. So you have to vent out in any means, like as if like an art, or through music, or through like speaking it out, or through crying even. We have to use some venting out mechanism. If you're not using such mechanism, then the pressure itself will cause a disaster to us. Okay, so handling our own mental health is actually easy if you're able to understand, like, okay, this is causing a stress for me. You can take it as a stress or use stress. You have to take it in a positive way. When you take everything in a positive way, look, mental health itself is an abstract concept. So you have to mind map yourself. Okay, this is causing a stress to me, this is causing this much to me, so I have to handle it, I have to balance it, I have to compensate it. So when you work through your mind, it will be easy for you to balance it.
So, how can we help others? I understand that mental health is all about personal guidance where we are responsible for our own self. But again, as we have been talking again and again, that we humans are social animals. People like me would love to be a help for the people who are suffering. So, even if we can't give 100% of answers for their issues, how can we help them in a subtle way where they find our help helpful but not as a disturbance or something? Because when I personally witness people getting disturbed, when I try to help, it somehow results as if I invade their personal space. So how can we help people without getting into wrong sides, but be an actual help to people?
Okay, the only thing they need there is listening. Okay, as we are talking about venting out ourselves, the only thing they need to vent out is through listening. Someone has to be there for them to listen. So listening involves like active listening. We should not take, it's not like we have to take everything into account. They just need someone to listen to them. So we have to be a very good listener so that they'll feel okay. I feel relief now after talking with you, after crying to you. I feel relief now. That one thing. And if they need a suggestion, you can tell, like, if you don't mind, or if you want me to say this, I'll tell you a little suggestion. That's it. The suggestion should not be like, you have to do this, you have to do this. No, it's like, when you see a problem, if I am seeing if I am a person with a problem, I can see my problem as if like as height as an Eiffel Tower. But yourself being another person outside of me can see that as a very little problem, or you might have a little another strategy to make things done. So you can suggest me, okay, why can't you act in this way? You can just suggest with some kind words. We people don't like let out our things or vent out our things. We just went out through putting it in our stories, WhatsApp stories or Instagram stories, or else by involving in drug practice. That is even more worse. It doesn't heal you. It won't heal you. Taking drug as heal, what to say, drug as a medicine is not at all possible. You should be aware of that one thing, like drug is not at all a medicine. Like, human beings or medicine, like, you can vent out to them, you can talk to them. You just need someone to listen. So yourself, not to invade into another person's space, you can just be a very good listener. And another thing is, you can be a positive force. They are actually filled with negative force, or they are just what to say, they are perplexed in that their own situation. So you can address them through many positive thoughts. You can say, "Okay, why are you looking at this thing like this? Why can't you look at from this?" They just need a different perspective, right? So you can help them out like that.
So you just told me that people tend to use social media as stress relief, but it actually doesn't help in much ways. So, can you suggest it? Do you have any points where we can actually use social media to help us as an individual or help us mentally? Are there any points where social media is positive and helpful? And if it is, can you share it with us?
Yes, yes, for sure. Look, in social media, people are just ranting out everything that is going on in their life. They're just using all those negative things that have happened in their life. They think that is something, that is very good. Like, that is good to let know people about my own circumstances. Among those people, you can be a positive force. You can put words in that, like, that energizes them. You can tell them that this is not the end of the life. You have many things to see, no? Those words, that appropriate word at that appropriate time, you can just randomly put a positive word, but that might be an appropriate word for someone else. So that will touch them, and that might strengthen them to move forward. Like, it have happened in my life at many times. So I personally feel, putting on positive words instead of what life is oh my god, no, you can put positive words. Like, even today they said June 21st, okay, the world is going to come to an every single status. But then, myself, I thought, why can't this be a new beginning for people, to let them know what is the meaning of life? So you should be a different person, like, talking from, or from a different perspective. You can strengthen people.
So, spreading good words through social media can actually help us and also people around us. And this kind of comes parallel to my belief, because I personally believe that when I make others happy, I feel happy inside myself. So it again comes where we all are social humans, where when I make you smile, that actually naturally puts smile on my face. So that's how we spread positivity. Thank you so much. So, as a college student, I told that you are a feminist, you are an activist, you go to children, women, and speak thoughtful words, inspire them. And I have also witnessed you do stage plays and mock skits, even like awareness programs where you play dramas with kind of morals. So, how did all this happen? Like, was college a great influence in your life? Because like a lot of students are getting into college this year, and they have just completed their schooling. And even if students who are in college right now, they might get inspired by how college can actually change us as individuals. So, can you share your fun story of college life?
Yes, sure. Okay, everything started from my childhood. My father is a pastor, so he used to take me for all this village ministry, and we used to attend vacational Bible school, and we used to take classes. We used to attend this drama skit up there, and we used to write and compose own songs. So I thought that's really fun. Those times of my days are like, oh wow, we'll go for VBS this summer. We'll spend a lot of time with kids. So growing up in that pace, later when I got into college, I was like this whole clay with all those dust. Okay, I know I was quite capable of, but I was totally raw. I don't know what is the absolute, or what is the actual, what you say, what is the correct method to go and attain the certain things. Okay, so I entered Lado College as a raw clay with all those dust and dust particles and all those sticks and everything. Okay. So when I entered, I was totally hopeless, and I was never fine, like talking in English or talking with people up there, anything. But then this one thing that happened in my life, the best thing is college play, annual college play of Lado College. So there they molded this raw girl. Actually, the one thing they said in this audition, and in that audition, was, she is a raw girl. We have to mold her. The only thing I did was I dedicated myself, as if as if like a mud dedicates itself to a potter. I dedicated myself to the director of the play, and she molded me. She helped me out. She picked all those dusts away. She motivated me through positive words. She corrected my accents and everything. And through that play, the next three consecutive years, we did all those protagonist play. And the main thing is, I gained many friends who inspired me a lot. One among them, the first one is Anthea Isaac. So that bond is something that have took us this part, no? So that made me to realize, when we do anything you do with dedication, that will definitely lead to success. So that is one thing that I learned. So college made me to speak out in front of thousands. Okay, that is fine. In front of lakhs. Okay, that is fine. It made me the guts. So it helped me to see a total drastic change from a girl who fears to stand in front of everyone to a girl who shattered to shatter the stage fear she held. You know, the girl who was using a raw accent, Indian or American, who's not even aware of what accent she's using. But then it made me to realize, okay, this is British accent, this is American accent, this is Indian accent, you know. So it made me, it helped me, what is the meaning of play, like what is the meaning of acting, like we take up the role of another person, and how do we act through it, no. It gave me everything, every single thing. Okay, I'm getting emotional.
Yes, even I learned a lot from you. And of course, I totally agree with all the friends inspiring us and we standing together to support each other. And I always proclaim myself as a proud dramatist after those 3 years. So, as you said, being passionate can bring greater results. Through these years, I have personally seen you. That's why I invited you to this talk show, because I personally felt that you have transformed into a whole new person by molding yourself and also inspiring others around you. So I want your confession about yourself. Where can you tell us one thing that you're really proud of at this moment?
Myself being really proud of this moment is, the one thing is, I have shattered all those shells that covered me. The fear, the inferiority complex. Okay, that was the whole hell of my life. I had hell, this inferiority complex from my birth. So this play, this college made me to shatter it. It just made me that is not me. I have to feel good about myself. I have to feel superior about myself. The moment I started feeling good about myself, my whole life changed. So the moment when I started to step into stage as a very good, like, or a good person, I can do this. Okay, with a confident person, you can say in a very good word, who shattered the inferiority complex. It seems like everyone is listening to you. Before, during my school days, when I entered every stage as an inferior person, with the thought, okay, this is not going to work, this is not going to work, I have never ever been successful in one single stage. All that I can remember is, I said just thank you, that's it. Okay, I'll say good morning and then I'll say thank you, that's it. But the one thing that made me to move so far is when I fought against my own inferiority complex. I battled for my own self. So that made me to move forward, and come and stand in this place, you know.
Thank you.
So
Really, I'm sure that our viewers are equally inspired and they get motivated to shatter their shells, no matter if it is inferiority or their fear. I really hope they get over it after seeing you speak such beautiful words. Now, can you finally share a few lines for our viewers who are getting inspired at this moment?
okay, the one thing I can say is the same thing. Like, when you get out of your shell and when you start battling for yourself, everything will come in line. No one can come and battle for you. Okay, every life is a battlefield. You have to stand for yourself. No one is going to come and stand for you. The moment you realize that you are the one thing who is going to be with you throughout your whole life, then you'll make it a better one. You'll make your life a better one. And as much as possible, be good to others as much as possible. It's not like I have to inspire others and so I do such things. No, you inspire yourself. You feel, when you do some things and you feel good about yourself, that is the best thing you can ever do, you know. So that will automatically inspire many people, and they will transform your own life. You cannot believe that your one word that you are talking to one person will inspire many. That will be very appropriate for their own life circumstances. So whenever you speak, whenever you talk, whenever you utter a word, just be careful that many people are listening to you. Okay, so this is one thing that I have to say.
So
Feel good
thank
about
you.
yourself. That's it.
Uh, so thank you so much, Angel. Thank you so much for your time and being our first guest in the talk show. I really hope the viewers enjoyed it. And with this as an excuse, I really got to see my friend after 3 months. So that is
Mhm.
something I'm happy about. And thank you so much. Do you have any social media accounts where our viewers would like to follow you if they would like to visit your
Actually, for now, I'm having a personal account, but I'm just documenting every single works of mine, and that's it I have now. And I'm working in an NGO called as Karpom Karpipom. So there we'll be talking about child sexual abuse and menstruation and every single whatever say awareness to be created. And if you need to learn about anything about sexual abuse or about menstruation or about body shaming, you can just come and check out. It's on YouTube, it's on Instagram, and it's on every single account. You just go and type Karpom Karpipom. That's it.
Okay. So viewers, make sure to visit Karpipom page and make sure to follow her videos. They are really nice. I have personally seen them, and I really suggest you guys to go and visit. Once again, thank you, Angel. And to follow up this interview, you can also suggest few points on what we can develop in this, and also share your comments. And make sure to visit antheaisaac.com. You can follow me in Instagram and Twitter at Anthea Isaac, and for Facebook it's Anthea Dorothy Isaac. So make sure to update me with your comments and your love. Thank you so much for your love and support. I will definitely meet you next week with another amazing personality. Till then, take care, have faith, spread love, be loved. Bye.